recording you. Let go of the
Go
man's
ahead,
neck.
record.
Let go of his neck. He's not going anywhere.
Stole a bike right out of a friend of mine's yard.
Let go of his shirt. Let go of his neck.
I did it.
Let go of his neck. Okay, you're fine. You ain't gotta hold his neck.
No, I didn't touch.
That was heartbreaking to see that on display. We know what happens when vigilantes are allowed to just run wild and do whatever they want to do. A haunting reminder. Makes me think a lot about Emmett Till and others who have been falsely accused. This is exactly what happened here. So 2 factors are at play here. One is the young man is being choked out, as if what happened to George Floyd wasn't enough, as if everybody in the world doesn't know what happened to George Floyd. This white man had the pure, unadulterated gall to put his hands around this young black man's neck. He didn't hesitate to do that. Do you hear me? Did you see that? Did you see it? Did you see it? He did not hesitate to do it. So 1, being choked out. 2, this young man has special needs. So it's just bad enough all around, but complicated by the fact that this young man has special needs. Take a look at this.
No, go get his mom or go get somebody that where he lives.
He doesn't know. They don't know it.
I don't know what kind of bike. It's a green one.
So this man, white man, who put his hands around that young black man's neck, thought that the young black man stole his friend's bike. And then as we saw and also heard in this last clip that we just played, he really didn't know what color his friend's bike was. So the assumption is, young black man, gotta be a thief. Yeah, has to be, because that's in the DNA of those folks. You see how this is working? And the man, the white guy, actually told on himself because he didn't actually know the color of his friend's bike. And you heard that he's on the phone with the cops, with the police, saying he really doesn't know. But he decided to take matters in his own hands anyway. He was wrong all day long, 24/7. What he did, his actions were wrong. If in fact he thought that the young black man stole his friend's bike, he should have picked up the phone and called the police, not take matters in his own hands, literally in his own hands, and feel so comfortable, so cool, so calm, and so damn collected to put his hands on this young black man. Jessica?
Yeah, Milwaukee, the systemic racism really runs deep. This is the same city where the police department and the DA's office ignored Jeffrey Dahmer, despite his neighbors calling time and again that he was assaulting, murdering, and raping Black victims overwhelmingly. And right now, the DA and the police officers in Milwaukee are also turning a blind eye to what happened here in this case. Milwaukee is the same city that struggles with having very few voting locations, when Madison, a city with a lower population, has far more voting locations and is overwhelmingly a white city comparatively. And so the systemic racism runs deep in Milwaukee, and the lack of action on behalf of people who are supposed to be leaders in our justice system just reinforces how racist our justice system really is.
Yeah, and I shudder to even call it a justice system. Legal system is working as it is designed, and so many of us are working to really make it a justice system. But I hear you, and thank God that Jessica, that there was a good Samaritan by the name of D'Angelo Wright, and he intervened. Listen to what he had to say. He recorded all of this. We're gonna put up what he had to say rather. I hurried up and got out of my car and intervened as quick as possible to kind of figure out what was going on. That is from Wright, and thank God that he did. And one cannot help to think about the murder of Elijah McClain, another young black man with special needs whose life was cut short. Now, unfortunately, in this case, the outcome, or fortunately, I should say, the outcome of this case was much different. Thank God for good Samaritans, and thank God that the community is continuing to rally around this young man. Throughout the week, Von Mays led multiple protests and was joined by members of the Milwaukee Black Panthers and other Black Lives Matter activists to bring attention to the October 10th incident. Very glad they are doing that. That is according to the Atlantic Black Star. And it is indeed a good thing that the community is still rallying and standing strong, because unfortunately the police have not. And I know that is not a surprise, Jessica, you kind of mentioned that. So the Milwaukee Police Department nor the Milwaukee County District Attorney's Office have released any statement about the incident or indicated whether the man who put his hands around the neck of this young Black man will face criminal charges. The video accentuates just how dangerous it is to be Black in America. And time again, these are not stories that are far and few in between. These stories happen regularly and they happen all across the country. Let's take a look at this quote from Von Mays, who is an activist. And Von says, stuff like this is happening all over the country. People playing vigilante. We saw what happened with Ahmaud, and she's speaking of Ahmaud Arbery, and all these different cases. These situations have historically ended badly for Black people. Jessica?
Yeah, this really reminds me of what just happened with Alex Mingus over in St. Paul, where he saved the life of a man bleeding out on the sidewalk, and he tried to flag down police officers, and he said 7 to 8 squad cars just drove right past him. And then he was given an award for valor for stepping up in that situation and protecting a member of the community. So the real justice system is the people. And Mingus said in his speech when he accepted his award for valor that the police don't make him feel safe, and he really didn't want to be there. And it's actually the people and the members of the community that keep the community safe. And that's consistent across the country, which is demonstrated with this.
Yeah, indeed. And his t-shirt, I mean, even if he hadn't said another word, the t-shirt said it all about doing away with white supremacy and what courage it took for him to stand up there in that moment and make that kind of declaration, because really that moment was about lifting him. And he took the opportunity to use the moment to remind folks that white supremacy is alive and well, and that we must do something about it. And he talked about the systemic challenges within police departments all over the country.